I was going to speak about some content that I saw on YouTube regarding women who identify as bisexual. And being bisexual means that you are attracted romantically and sexually to both genders or sexes, male or female. And these are cisgender women, they're bisexual. And I really enjoyed watching their account of their experiences as bisexual women. Bisexual women are a part of the LGBTQ community. Happy Pride to all the bisexual women. It's Pride Month, June 2024, at the recording of this video. And the content that I was watching was regarding women who actually met men and they fell in love with these men. And it was a couple of scenarios. One scenario was a bisexual woman who dated a man and she married this man. And he was, I think, from the Philippines, and she was Caucasian, American. And her family was very excited about her getting married to a man because they knew she dated women and they didn't agree with her dating women. However, she said that she remembers having conversations with like her mom, and her mom was saying, I know that you're in college now and you're just going through a phase, and that's why you're messing around with girls, but that's going to change. And the woman who is bisexual, she didn't like that her mother made that comment because she said, I'm not going through a phase. I like women and I also like men. And her mother was saying to her, well, dear, just let it get out of your system, but you will meet and have a husband one day. And she said she just remembers feeling infuriated that her mom did not process that she's bisexual. And her mom looked at it as, a phase. And the bisexual woman said, yes, I was young. I was like 19 in college. And she still considered herself to be bisexual, even though she was dating a woman. And to make a long story short, she married a man, and her husband is from the Philippines. And she said that her family loves him. They get along with him very well. But what angers her is that her family doesn't really accept the fact that she is bisexual. They consider her to be heterosexual. Now, the second scenario that I saw, this woman, she was black and she married a black man. And the woman considered herself to be bisexual, but her family did not condone homosexuality of any sort. They had no concept of bisexuality. So she was explaining how her family did not understand or believe that bisexuality existed. And she would try to explain to them what she was experiencing. However, they completely rejected the idea of bisexuality. They did not consider bisexuality as a sexual orientation. And she dated women, And she says she had like one boyfriend before she met her husband. And when she met her husband was aware that she's bisexual. And she got married to her husband. And she said till this day, her family, especially her dad, her dad is a black man, and her dad was totally against her saying that she liked women or that she was attracted to women because he was very religious. And she said she remembers before meeting her husband asking her dad, she said she just was playfully saying, "Dad, what do you think about me marrying a woman?" And she said that he went from 0 to 100 on her. He was completely angry. And he told her, "You are not a lesbian. You are not. You are a woman who is going to be with a man. That is an abomination. It will never happen in my family." Now, they were from African descent. And so she said that it just was not allowed at all from her culture, her family. Her husband is also African, but he was more accepting, of course. And her husband is not like her family. He accepts people who are same-sex attracted, in other words. And she said that her husband was saying to her, "If I had an issue with you being bisexual, I would have never dated you, let alone marry you." And so she's very happy with her husband. She said she was very honest with her husband while they were dating about her being bisexual and that she has dated women. She says she even had a woman propose to her, but they did not end up marrying. And she said because at the time she was still living in her home with her family, and she said her family was really against homosexuality. So she ended up breaking up with the woman who she was in a very serious committed relationship with. She actually said she was in love with her, and it was difficult because she could not be herself. She had to hide her relationship with the woman. But they broke up. She says she dated her husband not too long after that breakup with the woman. And she said that she didn't think that the relationship with this man was going to become serious, but it did. And they're now married. And she said that her family is so excited that she's married to a man. And I really found this interesting, those two women who had two different experiences. And as you can see, I titled this video, "Bisexual Woman Angry, Her Family's Glad She Married a Man." Lesbian perspective. Now, I identify as a lesbian woman, and I believe it's very important to listen to different experiences that we have as women, because we all go through ups and downs in lives, and our sexual orientation is our identity. And when someone does not accept us for who we are, the experience is really hard to explain, but it is very unpleasant. And many times we experience a lot of conflict with our family and even people in our social circle, like within our church community, our work environments. It can go as far as even your political affiliation. And when people do not see us for ourselves, when they do not recognize us, when they do not acknowledge us, it can create a rift and a divide in our relationships with our loved ones. And these women, they have their story. They've experienced the repercussions of having family members who reject them as being bisexual women. These women have been honest and upfront with who they are, but they are not accepted. And this has been challenging for them, as they thoroughly expressed. And each woman, in each scenario, their real life experience, each woman said, I am bisexual no matter what sex I dated. If I dated a male, I was still bisexual. If I dated a female, I was still bisexual. But it just shows you that biphobia does exist. And just my lesbian perspective, I am not bisexual, but I imagine these women, and any woman who has experienced this or going through this now, I can't imagine how infuriating it is to know that you're bisexual and that everybody else on the outside does not acknowledge who you are. They do not accept who you are. And then you marry a man, and to your family or whoever is in your social circle, in their mind, it confirms that they were right the whole time, that you were never bisexual, or that bisexual really was not even an actual sexual orientation. And by you marrying a man, it proved to them that they were right the whole time, that you were always a heterosexual woman. I empathize with you. But I think what is most important is that you be yourself, that you acknowledge yourself and accept yourself. And your husband accepts you as you are. And as long as your husband loves you and accepts you and acknowledges who you are, and you have a healthy marriage, that's all that matters. And anyone else on the outside who is becoming an intruder, then you have to decide how your relationship will continue to go with these people. Sometimes you do have to separate from people, your own family, if they cause problems in your marriage. If they cause problems by attacking your personhood, because your sexual orientation is your identity. I just wanted to discuss bisexual women who are angry and who find it very unsettling that their family or their friends, their church community, people who maybe they have a work relationship with or a political affiliation with, do not acknowledge them as bisexual women. And because these women ultimately ended up marrying a man, these people are convinced that their daughters were never bisexual. So I just hope that these women continue to be themselves and be honest about themselves. If you identify as bisexual, you are bisexual. Now, there are people who, obviously, as these women have expressed, will always consider you to be heterosexual. But do not take on that toxic energy. Do not take on those false misconceptions about who you are. And even though they're calling your marriage a heterosexual marriage, yes, it technically is a marriage between a man and a woman, but that does not negate the fact that you as a woman are still bisexual. But you have chosen to commit to a man who is your husband. And these women did not say anything about that they are interested in cheating on their husbands with women, or that they're tempted to cheat on their husbands with women, or even men, because they could still cheat on their husband with another man if they wanted to. These women expressed being in love with their husband, being faithful to their husbands, and being committed to their husbands, and their husbands accept them. And at the end of the day, everybody else's opinion does not matter if it goes against who you are as a bisexual woman. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like and share my video. I appreciate you for listening. Have a rainbow day.